Let's have a look at the character sheet. I currently am a Dark Elf Sorcerer, however I also recommend to go High Elf. High Elf will have 1% more max Magicka, but also 10% more Magicka recovery, especially in combination with Clockwork Citrus Fillet or the Witch Mother's Potent Brew, which gives extra 319 Magicka recovery and will be a little bit better for your sustain. In trials you should still be able to sustain well if you have warm, if you get enough orbs and with the absorb Magicka enchantment on your back bar. But Dark Elf is a tiny bit stronger because it has 7% fire damage compared to the 4% fire damage or 4% more elemental damage on the High Elf. We use the Thief Mother Stone for increased critical strike rating and put all points into Magicka. Like I said, Dark Elf, High Elf are the two races that I recommend. However, the damage difference is not that big that I recommend to race change with crowns or like with the race change token. Gear wise, one set has changed, and that's the Spell Strategist set. So we have an Infused Infernal Staff of the Spell Strategist set combined with 3 body pieces. We have a Flame Damage Glyph on the front bar. We get Magicka, spell damage 2 times, and the 5-piece bonus. When we deal damage with a light attack against the target, we place a mark on it, and then we gain an additional 500 spell damage. That is really nice. We can have like 100% uptime on that target, which is really cool. The thing is, the 500 spell damage, they get buffed by minor and major sorcery, so we get 10% and an additional 20% more spell damage on the extra 500. That makes it stronger compared to sets like Scathing Mage or Burning Spellweave in terms of the pure spell damage. Because the uptime is higher, like the average spell damage you gain versus the target will be higher. However, it only counts against that one target. So in pure single target fights, like on a target skeleton or in certain boss fights where you don't care about cleave damage, this set will be your best option. You should, however, always have Mother Sorrow or Burning Spellweave with you to replace Spell Strategist. In certain fights, Spell Strategist will underperform compared to the other sets because the extra crit from Mother Sorrow is really nice, or the spell damage that you gain against all targets from Burning Spellweave is also a bit nicer if you need more cleave. The other 5-piece set that we use is Sororia. So you have 5 pieces of Sororia here, all spell damage on my jewelry pieces. I recommend to go either 3 Arcane or 2 Arcane and 1 Bloodthirsty. I think 2 Bloodthirsty is already a bit overkill because in most situations you will still have a lot of Night Blades. So the execute will be short, you just lose a little bit too much, and from my personal experience, 1 Bloodthirsty or 0 Bloodthirsty and all Arcane perform best for me. Sororia gives you spell damage, minus Slayer, 2 times maximum Magicka. You lose 1 times maximum Magicka if you have the non-perfect version, and then the 5-piece bonus gets us the circle. If you stand in there, we can get Sororia's Boon that can stack up to 20 times, so it's an additional up to 600 spell damage. In certain situations, this set won't be your best option either. For example, in Asylum Centaurium, we just have to constantly move, so we cannot spend a lot of time inside the circle. We lose the stacks very often. We cannot build it up to 20 completely, not a lot of time, so the uptime will be really low, so I do not recommend to use it in Asylum Centaurium. And for example, on the 3rd boss in Vhof, we will not be able to stand in the circle for 20 seconds because it has such a short burst phase, I think of like 10 or 12 seconds, so it's like really short, and it's not the best option there either. So what you can do then is either use like Burning Spellweave or Spell Strategist if you have a single target combined with Mother Sorrow, if you have to move a lot. So that's a really nice other option. As a monster set, we use Zaan. I have here a medium head and a heavy shoulder. Infused on the big piece. Infused on the big pieces will be a little bit more DPS, a tiny bit more, but going full Divines is also fine, or just like one infuse is it's also fine. Zahn gives a spell crit. It will be the best single target set. You can replace it with Alambris if you have to play completely ranged the whole time, depending on your group. But you can also use, for example, Slime Craw if you don't have Combat Prayer, for example, in Cloud Rest. That also works really, really well there. That's pretty much it for the gear. No, I'm sorry, I forgot the Maelstrom Staff. So we use a Maelstrom Inferno Staff with an Absorb Magic Glyph on the back bar. Sustain got a little bit worse. They increased the cost of our spammable, and that's why we use an Absorb Magic Glyph. Sustain has never really been good on the Magicka Sorcerer, which is a little bit of a pity, but yeah, it's just how it is. So infuse on both Inferno Staves, Absorb Magic on the back, and Flame Match on the front. For the skills, we use Elemental Weapon as a main spammable. Then we use Crystal Fragments, Liquid Lightning. Make sure to always place it on the tank so you can use the synergy for better Alkosh uptimes. And then Mage's Wrath as our execute. You can also use Endless Fury if you kill a lot of like side ads in a fight to get back Magicka. That will help with sustain. And then we have Bound Aegis for extra Magicka. Fiery Rage as a Destro ability for the front bar. Greater Storm Atronach, that's the ulti we usually use. Then as a shield we have Empowered Ward for the minor intellect that we give to us and our allies. You can also use the other morph. Then we have Bound Aegis, Channel Acceleration for the minor force. You can replace that with Rearming Trap from the Fighter's Guild if you want to use an ability that costs stamina. You can also, if you don't need a shield, what you can also do is go with Spell Symmetry. That's the morph of Equilibrium. Just put it here if you don't need a shield and have issues with your sustain. Then we have Haunting Curse and Blockade of Fire for the Maelstrom Staff. You can put Haunting Curse on the front bar and replace it with Liquid if you want to play a full flexible rotation. However, how I showed it on the in the DPS test at the beginning, it will be easier for the people that play on console, and that's why also because I'm just used to it, I put Liquid Lightning again on the front bar, put Curse on the back bar, and I just cast Liquid into bar swap, and then I cast Blockade directly after that. I have 0 downtime on the dots, and that way I just feel more comfortable placing Liquid on the tank. That's just my personal preference, but you can put it on the back if you want to. It's completely up to you. So much for the skills. Let's have a look at champion points. So right now in the green tree I have 75 into Arcanus. This is what I always recommend to boost the magical recovery by 14%. Some points into tenacity. Sometimes I need to do heavy attacks because sustain is really bad on the Sorc. That's why I have some points here. And then 14 to Tumbling, 44 into Shadowboard, 18 into Sprinter because in trials we usually sprint a lot, and then 44 into Warlord. For the red tree, I think this is currently more of Lockhart, so we have 27 to Hardy, 64 Elo Defender, 23 Thick Skin, 60 Spell Shield, 81 Ironclad, and 15 into Quick Recovery. So if you play a different trial or a different dungeon, you might want to redistribute the red CP. For the blue tree, I currently have 23 into Erosion. So this might seem a little bit much. In some situations I even want to go up to like 27 to maybe 30 or 33 points if I need more penetration on cleave damage. So if we have multiple targets, I'd like to have a few more points into Erosion. It will help in trash, it will make it faster, and you can take these points out. I think you can go as low as 10 or 11 points if you have all debuffs in the group, that being like Minor Fracture and Breach, Major Fracture and Breach, Alkosh, Infused Torque's Pack Crusher, etc. So adjust the points to the debuffs you have in your group, and then you're pretty much set. 56 points into Ela Expert, 56 in Elfborn. We don't have Mother Sorrow anymore, so I don't really recommend to go more into Elfborn. 66 Mastered Arms, 21 Staff Expert, and 48 in Thaumaturge. You can, if you want to take some points out here and from Erosion, you can maybe take some points out from the Staff Expert 2 and get the Exploiter passive if you go up to 75 in Thaumaturge. but that's completely up to you. Anyway guys, that's it for the Magicka Sorcerer build. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section. If you want a more in-depth look into the class, wait for the class guide. I'm currently writing the script for the Magicka Sorcerer. I will show some beginner setups, some intermediate player setups, and yeah, I hope those will also help you too. If you liked the video, make sure to hit the like button, and if you do not want to miss any more ESO content, make sure to hit the sub button too. I hope you tune in next time, so until then, bye bye.